So Dean, so when he cuts the music, I'm gonna go up there, and I'll say a couple things, and I'll bring you up, and we'll go from there. Yes, ma'am. All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and get started with what is said to be, I believe, an incredible evening. Um, Good evening, everyone. I am nearly emotional with this opportunity to celebrate the Howard University Cathy Hughes School of Communication, this 50-year powerful legacy that we have in front of us today is something to nearly marvel at. It's incredible to realize, first of all, I was a student. My name is Virgil Parker, for those of you I haven't had a chance to meet yet. I just graduated from the Cathy Hughes School of Communications in 2021. Thank you. Definitely a long journey, a difficult journey, but one that was made better because of the incredible administrators, faculty, staff, students, loved ones who got me along the journey. But I was in the Blackburn Center when the name transitioned over to the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. And I remember Anthony Anderson was the moderator of that program. And I just thought at that moment, having learned more about the story of Cathy Hughes and how she became a pioneer in radio and communication, I said it is absolutely tremendous, inappropriate for us to name this after her. And I'm glad that we have this indelible legacy that we are moving forward with. So I'm going to get to the program in just a moment, but I did want to comment and say how appropriate it is for our theme this evening to be about a legacy of influence in the future of innovation. You know, needless to say, and you know, you'll hear student reflections later on and alumni reflections, but needless to say, our faculty, both within the Slim C and MJFC departments, taught us about how to leverage our communication talents to move the needle forward and create spaces and avenues and ventures for others to follow, and simply put, create a lasting legacy, right? You know, it is our responsibility as individuals, you know, to not only lead, but to ensure that people like us can come afterwards. And at the same time, with that respect, we have to recognize that the world is ever changing. And as communicators, we have to use innovative tools to remain relevant, to remain impactful, and to continue that guidance and that leadership. So I'm grateful to have leveraged the knowledge and to gain so much superior knowledge from this institution. And I'm grateful for what it continues to install within students and what it continues to do and what it has done for our alumni. So without further ado, let's get into the celebration as appropriate. Our first speaker this evening is none other than our incredible Dean Gracie Lawson Borders. Dean Borders, please join us.
Well, I can tell you, this is different from 50 years ago. Taking that mask off. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. As Virgil shared, and thank you, Virgil, so much, I am Gracie Lawson Borders, and I'm the Dean of the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. And this evening, it really is a pleasure, first of all, to see you, since we have not been able to gather in over a year, and to welcome you. So whether in person or virtual, this is our 50th anniversary celebration, and we want to make the best of it. We have to take a moment and recognize not only what a difference a day makes, but also what a difference 50 years makes. In 1971, the internet was not a thing, and no one was tweeting, texting, or posting. And here we are today in a physical and virtual space simultaneously, celebrating and sharing our story. The year 2021 marks a half century in which the school has continued to excite, educate, and engage thousands of students who span what I call the arc of communications, from the arts to the sciences. We prepare young people for the creative and artistic in film and advertising, to public relations, journalism, legal communication, and more. So we really do make a difference across the communication industry. We can be found whether in the C-suites, whether in public relations firms, whether in leading media companies, in the professorate, entrepreneurs, and just about anywhere you mentioned we also land. The past 18 months have been unprecedented, to say the least. From the global pandemic that triggered a public health crisis at proportions none of us has ever seen, and everything in between as we try to migrate back to campus this fall. We persevered, and we are still here. We have to take a moment to remember all of the lives that were lost and to recognize the advancements of modern medicine that brought vaccines to help us combat this virus. The School of C, as we affectionately call ourselves, relocated to a new facility this fall, the Met Building at 300 Bryant Street Northwest, just about a block going east down the road, which will be our temporary home until a new state-of-the-art facility is built to house the communication and fine arts programs. However, I must pause here to say something that's very important in my mind is we're not celebrating brick and mortar this evening, because that is not what makes a school come to life and thrive. It is not one person, it is not one event, it is not one issue that makes us who we are. It is you. Each and every one of you are who we celebrate this evening. At this day and at this time, the recognition of our 50th anniversary goes to every student, every faculty, every staff, every alumni, every administrator, and every friend who have been a part of the school's history. We purposely chose to affirm and celebrate each of you on this, our 50th anniversary. So that we ask that you pause right now in this moment and say your name out loud. You are all, can I hear those names out loud? You are all the award winners this year. This 50th anniversary celebration is for all of you. It is your passion, it is your service, it is your commitment across the 5 decades. From life in the old portable trailers up the hill, do we have people who remember that? To the C.B. Powell building, and now the Met building. That is what makes the difference, all of us coming together and helping to continue to see the school thrive. Each one of you matters, and we offer our affirmation of your service, commitment, and accomplishments. Join me in celebrating not only our past, but our present and our future. A legacy of influence, and a future of innovation. So we offer a heartfelt congratulations on this, our 50th anniversary, and here's to many, many more years of excellence without excuse. Congratulations, everyone, and without further ado, I welcome Dr. Anthony Wuto, Provost and Chief Academic Officer. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Usually when I'm presenting in the morning, I have to repeat that twice because everyone is still asleep. But in the evening, I know you are all awake, and I just want to make sure that we're all together celebrating this wonderful event as a Howard University family and community. So I'll just try one more time. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, good. I know everyone is wide awake now. I'm going to ask if everyone will stand up and just give yourselves a round of applause. So you may be seated, and the reason I wanted us to do that, when Dean Lawson Borders shared with me that this celebration was going to be taking place, I said, absolutely, I will be there. And there are really 2 primary reasons why. One, to celebrate the 50th anniversary celebration of the School of Communications that has had such an impact and has made such a difference in the lives of so many people. That alone is worthy of celebration. But the other reason is most of us have been cooped up at home for about 18 months plus. And this is one of the first occasions that I've had to get out with my lovely wife, Rita, and our 2 daughters. And this is really the first Howard University event that we've had to be able to socialize with everyone. Is that correct? As a matter of fact, the last event we were at together as a family was Charter Day. Is that correct? Shortly after Charter Day is when we moved into remote instruction. And so we are certainly honored to be here to celebrate with you. And I think it's worthy of celebration that we take note that this is a significant event in the life and the history of Howard University. As the Provost and Chief Academic Officer, I was just reflecting, I've been at Howard University for 25 years now. I came to Howard in 1996, and so it just occurred to me, Dean, I've been here for half of the life of the School of Communications. And when I think about the alums, the storied alums that have graduated in so many different fields, in journalism, in mass communications, in media, in strategic and legal communications, and the impact that you have had in a 50-year period of time, it really is an honor for me to have been at the institution for half of that period of time, to be able to witness the impact that has taken place. I want to acknowledge our MC, Virgil. I remember Virgil. He may not remember this. I met Virgil as a freshman, and somebody had commented to me that he's going to be somebody. And so I'm proud of the things that Virgil has accomplished. But I wanted to share with you, I met someone else today. His name is Dr. Johnson Akinleye. I went to the Howard earlier today, played North Carolina Central. Okay, I see we have an alum here. So we went to the game, and President Akinleye came. He was invited to President Frederick's box, and he came, and I didn't know this. He came in and he said, "I'm a Howard alum, and it is so good to be home." And so I thought about, wow, you know, all of these prominent alums that Howard has graduated and have populated all over the industry. We oftentimes don't note alums that we have graduated who've gone into academia. And so for the School of Communications to be able to claim a president of an HBCU, NC Central, I think is something that we also should take note of. So as I think about Virgil, who's just starting his career and has the School of Communications to thank for the opportunity that he's been presented, I think about President Akinleye, who's been at NC Central. How long has he been there now? About 5 years, is doing great things. And he really attributed, he said this quietly to me, he may not acknowledge this in public, he attributed a lot of the success that he's been able to enjoy to his experience at Howard University. And so the last thing he said to me, and he was there with his wife, his daughter, with his whole entourage, and he said, you know, whenever he's on Howard's campus, it just feels good to be back home. And so I noted that, and I said, wow, he's been president at NC Central. He's gone on to achieve success in his academic career, but he just has this certain feeling to be at alma mater, to be at the Mecca. And that's the same feeling that we share. That's the same feeling that our alums, when they come home, are inspired to share. And so the last thing I'll share with you is this has been a difficult year. And that goes without saying, whether it's because of COVID or the cyber attack or unrest that we're experiencing on campus and around the country. But that doesn't change the fact that we are a Howard family and that we exist, Howard exists to make a difference and to produce leaders in this country and in the global community. We have done that successfully for over 150 years. The School of Communications has done that successfully for over 50 years. And this is not just something we do because it's the right thing to do. This is something we must do because it is required of us by this country. It is required of us by the world. So again, congratulations to the School of Communications. Thank you for being here and allowing us to experience this. And I'm going to embarrass my daughter. My wife and I feel so strongly about Howard University that we've entrusted our daughter to the School of Communications. I'm going to ask Nadia to stand up. Nadia is a sophomore. She wants to go to law school. She applied to, how many schools did you apply to, Nadia? Like 7. She applied to 8 schools. She was admitted. I paid the enrollment, I paid the deposits. I know how many schools you applied to. But she was admitted everywhere she applied except one place. And so my wife and I left it up to her, where do you want to go? And she said she wants to come to Howard. She wants to go to law school. She wants to major in strategic and legal communication. She came to Howard with 60 credits already because she was in a dual enrollment program in high school. But it was significant to me that someone as talented as her, and I'll attribute that to my wife, someone as talented as my daughter, who could have gone literally anywhere in the country that she wanted to go for her college experience, wanted to come to Howard and wanted to be a part of the School of Communications to lay a foundation for what she's going to do in her career. So I'm not here just as your provost, because I may not be provost for long. You know, I told the president I'll be in the role as long as he needs me and as long as he wants me in the role. I'm really here as a parent. I want to thank you for what you are doing for Howard University, what you're doing for this country, and specifically what you're doing for my family and for my daughter. God bless you.
Wow. Dr. Wuto, Dean Lawson Borders, thank you for both of those remarks. You know, Dean, from your perspective, it's incredible to see that the Cathy Hughes School of Communications has a remarkable story. And Provost, for you to make the connection and, you know, welcoming your daughter into the School of Communications family, it means an incredible amount. I think that's a great segue into this next portion, which is going to be about an alumni reflection. Alumni are an incredible part of Howard University's legacy, as you stated. And I think it's appropriate for us to hear from the alumni to talk about their testimonials and, you know, what this school has done for them. Because to your point, making the comment about the president, it's remarkable to see what our leaders have accomplished. So I want to welcome to the stage Miss Natalie Felix to come up, please.
Good evening. I have my phone with me to prepare. It feels really nice to be back home. So to speak to your point, this is the first time I'm back in DC since 2019 homecoming. Yeah, I missed this year's homecoming. I was in San Diego. However, I ran into a bison, and that was a really nice experience. We exchanged HU. Okay, thank you. And even though we weren't physically in DC, it just tells you like we're family everywhere. So I was really excited to be that. I'm happy to be back home. So to begin, it's truly an honor to speak about my SOC. I know my mom is home saying HU and seeing this is where her money went. As a matter of fact, right now, this is proof. When asked to deliver an alumni reflection, I said yes, thinking after all these years, this is the moment principles of speech and advanced public speaking prepared me for. Everyone loves to talk about every day is leg day at the hilltop. No one mentions what it feels like when you're about to roll down the hill, when you're coming from the yard. It's still cardio. The first thing I would like you all to know about me is that I was not a traditional student by the time I graduated in 2019. Like many alums, I had a journey with Howard, and some days that looked like shuffling between the A building and SOC's advisor's office. But I'm here with my degree and my bag secured. To give you an idea, when I first entered, thank you, this was the John H. Johnson School of Communications. Then there were only 2 tracks, journalism and RTVF, and yet everyone needed over 10 copies of their scheme. There are moments that make the Howard experience, and there are people and things that make the SOC experience. To name a few, man on the street interviews, Ms. Dudley's office, Dr. Kagwa. If you know, you know. Only the real, that's right. Ringing the bell on Miss Williams' desk when you're finally cleared for graduation. Amen. An SOC orientation with Dr. Bird. To bring it full circle, part of that morning routine was to pick up a copy of The Hilltop, part of my morning routine, except when I had SOC orientation. If you know, that class started at 8:10, you needed to be in your seat by 8:08. Otherwise, you were not getting an attendance card. That was my first lesson on being punctual and the importance of how that would affect the rest of my career. While it's in the Valley and I stayed in the quad, this was certainly a course that you needed to have a best friend in. And I will tell you that some of my closest friends today I met in that class. In SOC, inspiration and opportunities are limitless. Again, students and alumni are in every space you can think of. Local newspapers, BT, the White House. There's an inside joke we have at Club Malin. This is what a select group of us referred to Dr. Malin's office. She did not call it that, I promise. My peer told Dr. Malin one day, "You are in the field for real." A realization that outside of being our professor, she is truly a practitioner, which goes for all of our professors and her colleagues. But this same became a phrase of encouragement and affirmation. I am here and I am doing the work. This college turned family is the gift that keeps on giving. Professors turned mentors, peers turned friends, coworkers turn friends, coworkers, and part of your tribe. I'm always rooting for Howard, but especially for SOC. While some of our campus peers joke that SOC stands for the School of Coloring, I'm looking at you, COAS and School of B. Exactly. It's all fun and games until they need us for a graphic design, a campaign video, their publicists. But either way, SOC has prepared us for those moments. I believe it goes without saying last year's racial reckoning propelled HBCUs into a new spotlight, as well as many of us who attended them. As a Black woman working for an otherwise white boutique PR firm, I bring an underrepresented voice and firsthand perspective, to my colleagues and our clients. And I can do this confidently because I was trained in this program, which empowers students to navigate rooms where the reality is there is a higher chance we will be one of the few or the only Black practitioner. I'm here to also publicly claim everything Dr. Tyree said in Capcom Lab is true. That was the experience, that was my last experience before graduating that propelled me for the role I'm in now. For the students in the room and watching, SOC prepares you in every way that you can think of, personally, professionally. It goes beyond your courses. It teaches you how to navigate the room, how to speak, how to look. Welcome to the family. This is more than a stepping stone. It is a strong foundation, a rock. I've even gained wisdom from professors whose classes I never sat in because Bison Webb was down. But I'm confident enough to say if it wasn't for them, I would not be the professional, confident, and happy to standing before you today. With that said, congratulations, SOC, on 50 years. I'm excited to see the continuous growth of this program. And I look forward to another 50. Thank you.
I think it's very important to note that, much like what Natalie said, the experience of so many students at Howard University are made better because of those warm, close relationships with the teachers. I know the same can be said for me. You know, we wouldn't be able to overcome obstacles, persevere, get through adversity without, these incredibly accomplished, award-winning, very sophisticated teachers, but also ones who care, pushing us, giving us that endurance, giving us that encouragement. So I'm really glad that she spoke to that, because it is what makes the Howard experience so valuable and so family-oriented, because of how faculty, staff, and administration, how much you care. That is a powerful word that is synonymous with family and Howard, care. And I appreciate that. Next up, we're going to have a music reflection. Before I welcome him, I did want to make another quick comment to remind folks about face masks. If you aren't consuming any type of beverage or food, please try your best to keep your face mask on. And thank you. That would be the most appropriate thing to do. But please welcome Zion Lane, Jr. from the Cathy Hughes School of Communications, to give us a music selection, please.
Good evening, everyone. I am Zion Lane, an honors junior, public relations major, and theater arts minor from Durham, North Carolina, and I also serve as your current Miss Cathy Hughes School of Communications. Oh, thank you. And while you'll hear a little bit more from me later, in this moment, I just wanted to sing this song as a tribute to the last 50 years and the next 50 years. So. Look at me, look at me. I am changing, trying every way I can. I am changing. I'll be better than I am. I'm trying to find a way to understand, but I need you, I need you, I need a hand. I am changing. I'm seeing everything so clear. I am changing. I'm gonna start right now, right here. And I'm hoping to work it out. And I know that I can, but I need you. I need a hand. All of my life, I've been a fool who said that I could do it all alone. And how many good friends have I already lost? And how many dark nights have I known? Walking down that wrong road, there was nothing I could find. All those years of darkness could make a person blind, but now I can see I am changing. I'm trying every way I can. I am changing, and I'll be better than I am. But I'm hoping to work it out, and I know that I can. That would be just fine. I know it's gonna work out this time. And this time I am. This time I am. I am changing. I get my life together now. I'm I'll change my life. I'll make a vow when nothing's gonna stop me now. Thank you.
Please, let's give her another round of applause. Hopefully future Grammy Award nominated Zion Lane. That was magnificent. I think speaking to that, that's part of the brilliance of Howard students, is that they're multifaceted and multi-talented. You know, they come from so many angles and so many perspectives, and they will impress you. And they will remind you why it's worth an investment into a Howard Bison. Congratulations, that was amazing. Thank you, once again, thank you so much. We're now going to move into another alumni reflection, and a reflection from a gentleman I had a chance to meet earlier and had a great discussion with, so I'm looking forward to his remarks. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Tommy L. Robertson, Jr. from the class of 1992.
Somebody said 1992. Good evening, and thank you very much. Natalie, I have paper. That shows you the generational divide here, you see. So, as I said 5 years ago at the 45th anniversary, I am just a nobody who happens to be somebody because I have a PhD from Howard University. That somebody is the chief of the Division of Hearing and Speech at Children's National Hospital. That somebody is an associate professor of pediatrics at the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and fingers are crossed for full professor this coming spring. That somebody is the first African-American male president of the American Speech Language Hearing Association, a 218,000 member organization of audiologists, speech language pathologists, and speech language and hearing scientists. This coming week, that somebody will receive the highest award given by ASHA, the association, the honors of the American Speech Language Hearing Association. Thank you. I joined the list of legacy makers from the department who have received this award. Orlando Taylor, faculty member and administrator, the first person of color to receive this award. Joan Payne, faculty member. Kay Payne, faculty member. And I hope you recognize the message here. 4 people of color associated with one institution, and can you guess what the institution is? Howard University. Our graduates of funded researchers, association managers, NIH research administrators, a dean, faculty members, school administrators, private practitioners, education department administrators, and the list goes on and on. So imagine the number of graduates in communication sciences and disorders. Take that number and multiply it by the number of programs in the School of Communication, and imagine the impact in each of the disciplines. That's Howard University. Now, in the play Hamilton, there's that song about who lives, who dies, who tells your story. Well, I think about the legacy that we leave, the legacy that we carve out. I look at Virgil, and I see a legacy. I look at Miss Wutu, and I see a legacy. Each of the students at Howard University, Mr. and Miss Communications, I see a legacy there. So who lives, who dies, who tells your story? So I'm not a hematologist, but I want you to indulge me just a minute. I want to see what color blood is running through your veins. HU? think it might be white and blue. Now, you know that we are here because each of us heard a call that simply said, "Come, and I will share with you what scholars seek, what academicians preach, and what the world yearns to understand. Do not be deceived by my appearance, for my heart longs for you." Yes, I might have some challenges. Yes, it will be difficult. And oh yes, there is truth and service in everything we do. As the School of Communications, I stand among the many university colleges and schools who have allowed for wisdom, knowledge, and guidance towards life's goals. Each graduate of this fine institution in general, and the School of Communications specifically, answered this call from dear Howard, who, in the words of Maya Angelou, offered space to place new steps for change. So HU, now you know that we cannot rest on our laurels. We must be innovative and think outside the box. Theodore Levitt said, "Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things." As we carve out the future in innovation in communications, we know that the best story in journalism has yet to be written. The Center for Journalism Democracy is in its infancy and has yet to establish the link to all the HBCUs. The next best radio show, TV production, film analyst, TV anchor, and yet all of these things that we do have yet to come. The ideal service delivery model for clinical services to culturally and linguistically diverse population is likely being worked on, but it has yet to come. So I think that these things are going to be developed, and I think there's an opportunity for Howard University to be in the middle of it, and I know that our students will in fact do it. I did not have the pleasure of growing up as an undergraduate on this campus. So as I have been here for about 35 years now, I know that all good things that have come from this world have a connection to Howard University. I'm simply saying it is likely that when you see these types of successes, there's a big possibility that someone related to the project went to or through, enrolled in or walked among or by, or went or engaged in some preposition as it relates to Howard. From the White House to the Brick House, we see that, right? Now, am I right or wrong? HU, now you know it's time to give back. Somehow we have to step up to the plate and not only reach up to our hearts, but reach deep down in our pockets to find that much needed communications agent called money, so we can offer scholarships and support our students and faculty and leave a legacy for years to come and spark the future of innovation. We will all be better for it. So in closing, the alumni are proud to be a part of this 50th anniversary celebration. We take our association with Howard University seriously. And while our feet may be planted in different states and territories and commonwealths and countries and whatever one calls the District of Columbia, our hearts are with Howard University. So HU,
You know, two words that immediately come to mind when I think about Howard alum are trailblazer and pioneer. What Dr. Tommy Robinson just spoke to was trailblazing. How there are so many Howard alum who courageously walk into these spaces and they are able to properly maneuver, properly adapt, adjust, create, lead, guide, and they do it so sophisticatedly, and they bring people like them as their successors. That is pioneership, and that is trailblazing. And that's made me a proud student. Part of the reason why I applied, hearing about the Kamala Harrises and the Thurgood Marshalls and Vernon Jordans and gentlemen like you who are pushing the path forward for us, that is meaningful and that is impactful. And I'm thank you for all the alumni among us within the Cathy Hughes School of Communication and the broad amongst the 13 schools and colleges of Howard University who do that consistently and effortlessly, because it means so much to us as students, and I thank you. Thank you for being a trailblazer and a pioneer for all of you. Thank you. So now we have another set of student reflections from our Mr. and Miss Cathy Hughes School of Communications. Please join me in welcoming Michael Radcliffe Brown and Miss Zion Lane, who, by the way, will hold the #1 record on the Billboard 100s one day.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Brown. I am a senior, graduating senior, television and film. Thank you. I'm a graduating senior television and film communications major, theater arts minor from Pomona, California.
And I'm back now. I am Zion Lane, an honors junior, public relations major, and theater arts minor from Durham, North Carolina. And it is our pleasure to be here tonight as your Mr. and Miss Cathy Hughes School of Communications for the 2021-2022 academic year.
Tonight's theme is a legacy of influence and a future of innovation, which has called us both to reflect on who we are as Cathy Hughes School of Communication students before we were elected into these positions and who we will aim to be after.
For me, campaigning for this position was an incredibly inspiring and enlightening time for me. Throughout my pageant journey, I had the opportunity to be coached by the same people I had admired since I first set foot on this campus. People like Lauren Myers, Deja Davenport, Lawrence Aker III, Elijah Massey, and Grant Robertson. To this day, months after those many late-night pageant practices, I am still baffled at the fact that I got to receive advice from, laugh with, and even go to brunch with the same people I had admired from afar just a year ago. These people went from knowing nothing about me to willingly sharing their wisdom and experience, all while not even feigning the slightest idea of how much I clung to every word that they had to say. If that's not a legacy of influence, I don't know what is. And consider the countless members of HU 22, 23, 24, and 25 who stopped by my tabling events, accepted the free stuff I passed out at my tabling events, remembered my name and face, learned more about my platform, reposted every social post, and even cast a vote in my favor up until the final hour. Let's pause and really think about this. These people, most of whom I did not even meet until September 7th or later, did all this for me, just little old Zion from Durham. I chose to run for this position because of my passion for servant leadership and what I felt I could give to my fellow students. But never in a million years would I have guessed how much my fellow students would go out of their way to give to me. What more inspiring way can one view a future of innovation, if not through the lens of servanthood? Tonight, I would like to thank you all, to those who built this legacy I stand upon, to those who have granted me with the opportunity to contribute to this legacy, and to those who will stand on this legacy after me, with the same admiration, hope, and innovation that I aim to stand before you with this evening.
And with me being a senior, I have seen many highs and many lows, not just on Howard's campus, but within our beloved School of C. I've walked the halls and sat in the classrooms of the CV Powell building. Screening room West was my favorite, despite it being hot or cold, never in between. I was a sophomore when COVID struck and, sent us all away. An entire year in a remote setting, and then boom, we're back. But campus is not how it was when we left it. There's no more CV Powell building. So now what? Did that stop the School of C? Of course not. We didn't crumble. We transitioned into the now newly established Met Building. So we continue to rise up, and now here we are. Now you may be asking, why is this how I chose to reflect? I'll tell you why. The C.B. Powell Building is a symbol. It's more than just a building, more than just hallways and classrooms. It's where all of us met our classmates and friends for the first time. We met our advisors, our professors, our chairs, and our beloved dean. That building is rich. It's rich with legacies of students who've matriculated through it, the professors who have made a name for themselves in the world of communications, and those who we've lost over the last 50 years. This building is a symbol of legacy. The year and a half of remote learning and the transition to the Met Building has ushered us into our new season, our future of innovation. You see, without legacy of influence, we would not have been able to benefit for the past 50 years. We wouldn't know where our future of innovation begins. The rich legacy that the Cathy Hughes School of Communications has fostered over the last 50 years will continue to be the blueprint for the next 50, 100, and 150 years to come. Thank you.
To stand before you all tonight at this historic event is an honor, to say the least.
And to say that we are excited for what the next 50 years has in store for us would be an understatement.
We are honored to be a part of this school's legacy of influence and are elated to dive headfirst into our future of innovation. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. You see, what I always admired about my peers when I was at Howard University is that no matter what, no matter how challenging the times were, we always had hope. We always had hope, we had forethought, we had ambition, we had aspiration. And to much like they spoke to much like everyone has spoken to, from the provost to the dean to Dr. Robinson, you know, we are understanding what our call to task is while celebrating these first 50 years, what the next 50 to 150 years would look like. Because we are hopeful that we can remain impactful and that we can continue to be leaders and that we can continue to create, you know, powerful communication practitioners. And I thank all of you this evening to continue to amplify that hope, because it's necessary and it's valuable and it's meaningful. So thank you. Unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of our program. It's been so fun celebrating with you all this evening, but I do want to welcome back up our Dean Gracie Lawson Borders, to give some final acknowledgments for the program, and then we'll go from there. So Dean, please, welcome.
Work with this mask. Again, in innovation that we had to deal with. Well, thank you, everyone, for this evening, for these comments. Thank you, Provost Wuto. And I have to take a special thanks to Provost Wuto, because he is a provost extraordinaire to me, because he embraces all the schools and colleges and the deans, and he's supportive. And no matter what I call him with, and sometimes it's interesting, he says dean, and then he gets back with me, but he does get back with me. And so I want you to know he's definitely a supporter of the School of Communications. And I also want to thank everyone that spoke this evening. Natalie, you know, to hear your words, to hear you talk about what it means since you've been out of school and the things that you're accomplishing, that matters. To Zion, first of all, you can sing for us anytime. That was absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Dr. Tommy Robinson, thank you, thank you, thank you. You said so much we needed to hear, because it is about trailblazing. It is about the future. It is about the opportunities. As Virgil said, you know, when you see Howard students, you see them flexible, you see them creative, you see them entrepreneurial. You will see lots of things out of them. Michael has a special place because I had him in class one semester. As an administrator, you don't get to teach all the time. But he was someone I met, and I'll never forget. And he and the students in the class gave me a gift, because this thing goes two ways. So they allowed me to have this bright idea to go down to Frederick Douglass' house and teach on the front porch, and that's what we did. And I will never forget that. So that's a gift they gave me, whether they know it or not. You just don't get to do that every day. And that's what happens at Howard. Howard can be magical, it can be fantastic, but it can also be something that stays with you and never lets you go. And that's what we want everybody to remember. And so, as we think about this evening, we're not just celebrating this moment, we're celebrating all the moments to come, all the great things that will happen after this. One of the things that I also get to do is join in the formal ask to all of you and to all of you who are watching us virtual. We want to continue this legacy. So what you do, as any good Southern Baptist minister would tell you, your time, treasure, and talent. And in this case, we want you to contribute to the future of the School of C and the students in the school, because what you give, no matter how small, it matters. You know, the scholarships, the support of the programs, the opportunity for us to get into new spaces and do things, that matters. So when we're asking heartfelt and sincerely for the support to continue doing some of the things that we're doing with our students. I see so many of our faculty around the room who know what we do, and I'm going to tell you, there's amazing folks. They can be creative, they can be innovative, and they can make sure things happen when the students are here. So don't forget that you're a part of something that's special, and we want to continue it on. The proposed new building is that opportunity to keep doing what we do in spaces. As you know, it's all changing every day. The song is so apropos because it is. It's constantly around us, becoming different in the things we have to prepare for. Who knew what this past year would bring? But look at all the things that we have to think about and prepare for going forward. I don't know about you, but it is so nice to stay up here and see your faces. We were in so many little Zoom boxes and team boxes just to have our presence. Communications is about, humans are, communicators, and humans are social creatures. We want to be with each other. We want to connect. So to have this opportunity tonight is really special. So I don't want to leave without that. I want to thank DJ Haas because he is a School of C alumni who's here with us and going to rock a few tunes before we leave. I want to thank the Dean's team. Let me tell you about those folks in the Dean's office. We've been moving the past month and a half. We're all excited to see each other anew because all we've been wearing is gym shoes, blue jeans, sweatshirts, moving things, and everything that we could come up with to make sure we got in a new space and continue what we were doing. And I want Provost Wuto to know that I want him to share with President Frederick, we are grateful for the opportunity to continue to have a space and thrive and do what we want. And we're going to take care of her. You can rest assured, we're going to take care of her. She's going to be fine. So with that, I thank you, but there are two people who don't want me to mention their name, but when you look around this room this evening, I am going to mention their name because they were adamant and dedicated to making sure we could have this evening at this time and space, and that is Dr. Tia Tyree and Dr. Leilani Malin. I don't know where they disappeared to, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. We wanted to have this moment. We wanted to have at least a time to recognize and celebrate and keep in mind what everyone has shared, a legacy of influence, a future of innovation. Thank you all for joining us and enjoy the rest of the evening. And we have more for you in store because we're going to have reflections over here in the corner. So we want you to come and speak and share. We're videotaping this whole entire thing so we can share it and continue to share it. So thank you all and enjoy the rest of a great evening with us. Thank you.
Before we move to the next portion of the program, I want us to get to the alma mater, if DJ would like to play that as we close out the Howard University alma mater, which would be great for us to partake in. You guys can look on the backs of your programs for the words, the alma mater, if you'd like to follow along. Oh, how we sing of thee. Today, make us true and live and strong, ever bold to battle wrong. Hail from King we grow the swing. Hey, be strong, for thee is as we sail by sun sea. All power we sing of thee. So that was just beautiful. A few final comments. Again, happy birthday to the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. I've had a magnificent time with you all this evening. We're ending our formal program, but we're going to have our reception in a moment and move to testimonials. But again, my name is Virgil Parker, class of 2021, Department of Journalism, Media Journalism and Film. And I've had a magnificent time with you all this evening. Thank you all for making this special. Thank you for reminding me that I made one of the best choices of my life coming to Howard University and picking this major. And it's just been tremendous being with all of you, so thank you. So once again, as the dean said, you're going to see over the corner Dr. Tia Tyree. She's waving her hand. If you'd like to do testimonials, please feel free to make your way to that direction. We want as many people as possible to talk about why they love this school so much. And again, you know, we're sharing a live feed, live stream, which will be able to be consumed later once it's made available. Thank you to our virtual audience for being with us here today. And thank you to everyone for being here physically, and you know, enjoy the testimonials, the desserts, and the rest of the evening. Wish you all well. Thank you. Foyer, by the way, in the lobby. That's where you'll be able to access the desserts right outside if you want to be able to grab those in the midst of doing the testimonials. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, test, test, test. Test, 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 1, 2. The mic is hot.
I can start whenever.
Hold on just a second. I'll let you know. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. I am Zion Lane, an honors junior public relations major and theater arts minor from Durham, North Carolina, and I'm pleased to share that I currently serve as the Miss Cathy Hughes School of Communications for the 2021 and 2022 academic year. I'm very excited to be here tonight at this historic event because it's very nice to reflect on our legacy and reflect on what the last 50 years have entailed, and to also get excited and get amped up for what the next 50 years have in store. Running for this position, I knew that I wanted to serve the student body, and I knew that I had the ideas and I just had the vision for what next steps this school could take. So to see it kind of coming to life and seeing what the previous Miss Cathy Hughes School Communications have done before I even got here, even stepped foot on campus, is so nice to see. So I'm glad to be here tonight, and happy 50 years to the Cathy Hughes School Communications. Thank you.
Take that, wipe your hands. There you go. You can go that way and around.
Yeah.
When you're done, you're going to go that way and around.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Brown. I'm a graduating senior television and film communications major, theater arts minor from Pomona, California. And when I tell you that joining the Cathy Hughes School of Communications was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. A quick little story. It was actually an accident, but God works in mysterious ways. I was trying to be an acting major, and I signed up for TV and film, thinking they were going to teach me how to act on TV and film. And when I came, it was like, this is not at all what I signed up for. However, I learned that I had passions that I didn't even know about. And it pushed me to try everything and anything that I can get my hands into. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm proud to be here tonight. I'm proud to represent the Cathy Hughes School of Communications as the 2021-2022 Mr. Cathy Hughes School of Communications. And I look forward to seeing what the legacy holds. Thank you.
Ready? Okay. Hi, I'm Cheryl Johnson, Associate Professor in the School of Communications, and I just wanted to wish the School of Communications a happy 50th anniversary. I'm a student of the School of Communications. I started in 1982. I'm Kamala Harris's classmate. Graduated in 86, got my start at WHUR when I was in the 11th grade in Maryland. So I was working at WHUR and Howard University when I was so young. And if it weren't for Howard University and the gift that Katharine Graham gave from the Washington Post for HUR for $, a long story. But long story short, they ended up training someone who would go into New York and do things in Washington, and then full circle come back as associate professor and get tenure. It's just a blessing. It's so humbling to be able to now teach students things that you actually did in the industry, partner with organizations that help us bring the practical experience into the classroom. And it's just full circle for me. And just to see WHUR and Howard University 50th years for the School of Communications is just excellent. So I just want to say happy anniversary, School of Communications, 50 years of excellence. We're here, your students, now your professors, trying to train the next generation of leaders and communications experts and individuals. So thank you so much. Yay! Take that, take that.
All right. Give me just a second to get focused here.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Sean Plater, General Manager at 96.3 WHUR and WHUT TV. Also, a School of C radio, TV, film graduate, and a son of the School of C. Just so glad to celebrate today 50 years of the School of Communications, and so thankful for my experience as a student and what I continue to be able to be a part of each and every day as we work with students through WHBC Radio, through Glasshouse Radio, through WHUT and the students that we have there. So glad to always be a part of that family. And again, just thankful for my time and the experience, my professors, who pour so much into us and were always giving of themselves to us, even on the weekends when we wanted to try to do different things. So just, again, Howard is the greatest place on the earth, and just thankful for 50 years of so many different students. There are a lot of people whose names may not be in billboards, but are doing a lot of great things across the country. So thank you, School of C, and your legacy is rich. And to those that come behind us, let's keep it going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And take small step back.
Small step, okay.
Fantastic. And 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Timms Copeland, and I am a 2020 graduate of Communication Culture and Media Studies doctoral program. And I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here at the 50th anniversary of the School of C. Just really very happy to be a part of it. I just reflect on all of those great memories that I have being a part of the CCMS department. All of the people I met, it was just quite a joy to meet so many great people. Got a chance to network, and the skills that I learned within that department are just so invaluable. I want to say thanks to all the faculty members that I had. It was under Dr. Byerly's leadership. Also Dr. Soon, Dr. Chaudhry, Dr. Showman, so many professors that I had that really impacted my life. I must say thank you so much for all of your hard work, and I'm so happy and excited to be a graduate of Howard University. I feel like I'm a part of a much, much bigger family. So to the HU family, I just say thank you so much, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy this day as much as I have.
Okay. And Ingrid, will you take a photo for me, Ingrid? On the mark. Will you take a photo for me with that in the backdrop? Okay. Tell me when. 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Happy 50th, Cathy Hughes Communications. I am Jennifer Thomas. This is truly a full circle moment for me. My freshman year, I did work study in the dean's office, Dean Lionel Barrow. I was a freshman, my first time in Washington, D.C., and my brother said, if you're going to do work study, you need to do it in the school. So there I was as a freshman in the School of Communications. That allowed me an opportunity to meet all of the faculty, meet my fellow students, the staff members, and then here I am full circle I won't say how many years later, back as a tenured associate professor teaching from the same department from which I graduated. I'm also a former Miss School of Communications and a former Miss Howard. So this is just a remarkable moment of reflection, of appreciation and gratitude. I'm just so thankful for all that the School of Communications poured into me, that Howard poured into me, that now in turn I'm able to pour into my fellow students. And share these special moments with other faculty and staff. I also want to give a shout out to two special people. Dr. Kagwa. I am definitely a Kagwa kid. Dr. Kagwa is the reason that I am back here in this position. I kept in touch with him through the years, and he said, "Daughter, you need to come back to alma mater." And so here I am. So, Dr. Kagwa, I owe all of that to you. And also, Carol Dudley. You have been an inspiration from when I was a student visiting your office, always inviting me to come back to the job fairs. Now I'm in charge of our journalism, Howard University Association of Black Journalists trip to New York City. And I could not be doing this if it were not for you as well. But final shout out to all of the students that come through the School of C. This has been a topsy-turvy challenging year, but we have done it. We continue to strive. We don't let our circumstances dictate our potential. And I'm just a proud alumna, a proud faculty member of Howard University and the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. So happy golden anniversary. May the good news be yours, from Professor JT.
Hi there, I'm Lynetta Bradley Coney, and I entered the School of Communications in 1973. At that time, the dean was Tony Brown of Tony Brown's Journal. I am happy to tell you that Cathy Hughes was my counselor. She was Kathy Liggins at that time. I was a journalism major, TV film minor, and I will say that Melvin Lindsay and Jack Schuler were my classmates, and I'll never forget the night that Kathy asked them to go on WHUR, and they started Quiet Storm. I have loved every minute about being a Bison. I left Howard University and I worked in New York City for many years in the advertising business. Some of my clients would have been Dark and Lovely Hair Care, Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers, Con Edison, etc. I'm now the president of a community college foundation, and what I learned at Howard University has carried me through in my career. I'll never forget Dr. Samuel Yett, who asked me to explain why I couldn't get to his 8 o'clock class. But I had to eat and read the entire Washington Post to be prepared for the top 10 news stories of the day. Well, it was a valuable lesson because I learned to be on time. It's a struggle, but he invested in me. So I'm happy to be here for the 50th anniversary. I don't see many of my classmates, but I know we'll be here for the next. I love Howard. Good night.
Good evening, everyone. Virgil Parker here, class of 2021. Had a degree in journalism and a minor in Afro-American studies. I absolutely love the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. I have been so appreciative of the many faculty members, fellow students, friends, every person who has poured into us to make us the leaders that we are today. You know, I'm about to become a U.S. Fulbright student, going to be partaking in Fulbright in Canada within the next couple of weeks. And I've looked at some of the incredible experiences I've had, and I credit the work that I do and the things I've been involved with to Howard University. So I hope that more students consider coming. I hope that the current students take full advantage of the opportunities made available at the Cathy Hughes School of Communications, and I hope that this legacy continues to thrive. Thank you so much, Howard University. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello. Congratulations to the Cathy Hughes School of Communications. My name is Earl Simmons. I'm the first elected president of the School of Communications, graduating in 1975. I came to Howard after graduating from Hampton University, long history, and I enjoyed my time, but I came from the trailers behind the stadium, and so it's a long way. I'm in the area, I'm in Silver Spring, and I just wanted to join, even though I haven't been a part of the school. I wanted to say hello to everyone, and I know my friends and my classmates are looking. I was at the school with the publisher of the Washington Informer, Denise Rolock Barnes, and Channel 4's Pat Lawson Muse. And so I congratulate them on their success. I am presently at the National Institutes of Health, and I just hope everyone enjoys their time and continues to prosper and survive this epidemic. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Oh, you gotta put it down. I'm not sure. I'm Dr. Tia Tyree, and on behalf of the Office of the Dean, we thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a wonderful time, and we do hope you enjoyed the stream. You'll be able to see it again on YouTube later. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.